Krishna, dear devotees, let us chant one round of japa with Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya, Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namine, Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine, Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaur Bhakti Vrinda. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय श्रीमद् भगवद गीता as it is की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for all session. Let's recite Bhagavad Gita Sloka. We are reciting Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 10, text 14. Yes, Mataji, Aditi Lata Mataji and Avinita.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Mataji.
Sarvam etadritam manye yanam vadasi keshava nahite bhagavan vyaktim vidur deva nadanava. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Arunita.
Sarvam manye yanmam vedasi keshava
Vadasi
keshava nahi Bhagavan Vyaktim Vidurdeva Nadanavaha. Translation. O Krishna, I totally accept as true all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna. Achintya Dev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Sorry. Sarvam etad ritam manye
Sarvam etad ritam manye
yanmam vadasi keshava
yanmam vadasi kesava
nahi te bhagavan vyaktim
nahi te bhagavan vyaktim
vidur devanadhanava.
vidur deva nadanava. Translation. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Isha.
सर्वमेतदृतं मन्ये यन्मां वदसि केशव नहि ते भगवान् व्यक्तिं विदुर्देवानदानवाः. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality.
Krishna Shish.
सर्वमेतदृतं मन्ये यन्मां वदसि केशव नहि ते भगवान् व्यक्तिं विदुर्देवानदानवाः. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality.
Madhava.
सर्वमेतदृतं मन्ये यन्मां वदसि केशव नहि ते भगवान् व्यक्तिं विदुर्देवानदानवाः. O Krishna, I really accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality.
Rasapriya.
Sarvametadritam manye yanmam vadasi kesava nahi te bhagavan vyaktam vidurdevanadanava. O Krishna, I totally accept as true all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality.
Vindhyavali Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Sarvam etadritam manye yanmam vadasi kesava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidur deva nadanava. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita 10:14. Sarvametadritam manye yanmam vadasi keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidurdevana danava. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. So the previous verse was what? 12 and 13. Param Brahma, Param Dhama,
Parandhama
Pavitram Paramam. Pavitram Paramam Bhavan.
Purusham Shashvatam Divyam
Shashvatam Divyam
Adidevam
Adidevam Ajam Vivam.
Ahutram
Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve
Devarshi
Devarshir
Sada
Naradas.
Asito Devalo Vyaso Swayam Chaiva Bhavishyami.
So this was also spoken by Arjuna. It starts from that verse, Arjuna Uvacha, and then Param Brahma Param Dham. So before that, what did Krishna say before that? So we have those 4 verses. Chatushloki Bhagavatam. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. So Krishna is telling about his position, that everything is coming from him, and how he is the one who removes the darkness of ignorance from the hearts of his devotees. And also in the beginning, Krishna says, in the beginning of this chapter, that neither the demigods nor the great sages can understand me. So now Arjuna is saying, what is Krishna's position? You are Param Brahma, Param Dhama, you are the purest, and all that. You are the eternal person, origin of all. And whatever you have said, I accept it as true. So there he said, this statement is my realization, but it is also the statement of all the authorized sages like Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa, and now you yourself, you are the supreme authority, you yourself are also saying the same thing. So this is so he's confirming it from all angles. Whatever you have said is right. So basically he's reiterating. So now after saying that, Arjun is saying, I accept everything that you have said. I accept it as truth. Neither the demigods nor demons can understand your personality. Okay? So because today is Sunday, today is the last day we'll be reciting this verse. So I just went over it one more time. And tomorrow we'll be memorizing a new verse. Now let's read Srimad Bhagavatam. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 6, the downfall of Saubhari Muni. So yesterday we were reading Saubhari Muni actually was regretting, repenting for falling down from his position of elevated position in Ashtanga Yoga because of associating with the sexual activities of fish. And then he was thinking how, although, so the cause he said is because of association. And of course, from the purport we understood the solution, so bad association. So Saubhari Muni was saying that, thinking to himself that, oh, we read all this, huh? Okay. He was thinking that what's this? He was thinking that others should learn a lesson from my life, right? Because of bad association, you fall down. So the solution is where can you find that place where there is no bad association? Where there is no place. So the only place where there is no bad association is where there are devotees who are chanting and glorifying Krishna. That's our only protection. Sincere devotees of the Lord. So we should stay in the association of devotees, engage in the service of acharyas, like that. So, and Srila Prabhupada said our Krishna consciousness movement is giving that opportunity to everyone. So then Saubhari Muni is further thinking how he was alone before, a yogi, happily performing his mystic yoga, and then, he fell down from that position, and from being a single person he became a husband of 50 wives, and in each of his wives he begot 100 sons. Thus he fathered 5,000 sons. So, but he continued for some more time. He spent time in household life, and then finally he took Vanaprastha. He left home. And then his wives also followed him because they had no other shelter into the forest. And there it is said he performed austerities. It was because he was a yogi before. He was conversant with the self. He was self-realization. He followed the same practices, and once again he was able to come to that state, a situation. So at the moment of giving up his body, he was able to think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And thus, so at the time of giving up his body means when the fire of the body increases, the last moment, he was able to meditate on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then we know, Prabhupada quoted, someone who does that, Tyaktva Deham Punarjanma Naiti Mameti Sorjuna. Right? So one who gives up his body thinking, Antakalecha Mameva Smaran Muktva Kalevaram. Okay, that's different. Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam Tyajatyante Kalevaram. Where does this come? Tyaktva Deham Punarjanma Naiti Mameti Sorjuna. Which verse is that?
That is 4th chapter, Mataji, right?
What's the first line, Mataji?
Jan karam cha me divyam.
That's right. Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna. Okay, so Prabhupada chooses to quote that verse here, that 4:11, that 4:9 says that anyone who knows the transcendental nature of my birth and activities, then after giving up this body, he does not come back to this material world, but he attains to my nature. That's that verse. But the point is, somebody who is able to think of Krishna at the time of death, after giving up this body, he doesn't have to come back to this world. That is the perfection that Saubhari Muni got. The perfection that he got is, after giving up this body, he didn't have to come back to this material world. We discussed that yesterday. Of course, he was a Ashtanga yogi, but if you are meditating on Supreme Personality of Godhead, and depending on your desire, right? Generally, Ashtanga yoga means they get liberation. They get liberation. One of the 5 types of liberation. Whatever it is that they are desiring, whatever is there in their heart, that's the type of liberation they get. So at least he didn't have to come back to this world, and he also went to the spiritual world. That's the point. In the spiritual world also, actually, there's a lot of variety. Lot of variety means many possibilities are there. It is not that anyone who goes to the spiritual world gets seva, service of the Supreme Lord. No, not everyone gets. Unless there is bhakti, you don't get. If you're doing Ashtanga yoga, you can get liberation. But getting liberation does not mean you're getting a relationship with the Lord as a servant, or as in any other relationship, you're rendering service to the Lord. No, that's not. It will only happen if there is bhakti. Anyway, but Saubhari Muni was meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so there is that element of bhakti there, right? Meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he went back to Godhead, Prabhupada said. So then, that was the perfection. Then what else did we read? We have to start with text 55. Oh, that is the last. We completed. Okay. So this was the last one, 54. When Saubhari Muni, who was quite conversant with the self, went to the forest, he performed severe penances. In this way, in the forest at the time of death, he ultimately engaged. So in the fire at the time of death. See, at the time of death, first the temperature goes very high in the body, and then it just drops. They become like that. So very high fever. So then when the temperature is very high, that means the fire in the body is increasing. And then, after that, finished. So the fire, so that's what is said here, that in the fire at the time of death, he ultimately engaged himself in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But if you are practiced to engage, to depend on the Lord, to remember the Lord, then Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. He immediately transcends the 3 modes of material nature. So whatever fire, earth and all this is still in the modes of material nature only. This is material nature. You won't experience any of that if you actually transcend the material condition. How do you transcend? Just calling out to Krishna, right? The more sincerely you focus on Krishna and just give up all other concerns and everything else, especially at that time, right? Just simply forget about everything else. Of course, it's not that it will happen, like whatever you do throughout your life, whatever you're meditating on, whatever your aspirations are, all of them accumulate, and that's what will be your consciousness at the time of death. So those who are trying to remember Krishna, trying to practice devotional service in their life, then you don't have to worry. Why? Because we are at Krishna's mercy. We are trying to serve Krishna. We should try now, to the best of our capacity, to serve Krishna, to please Krishna. And at the time of death, when it is not within our capacity, then Krishna says, he assures that he will personally help us remember him. So for a devotee, there is no fear, right? Because he's completely dependent on the Lord, like that. So our only concern should be how to be engaged in pure devotional service now. When we are able to, let's do it now. And when we are not able to, then Krishna will carry us, right? Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yoga kshemam vahamyam. Yoga kshema. Yoga kshema. Yoga means giving, bringing what the devotee does not have. Kshema means protecting what he already has, right? Protecting whatever he has from losing. And yoga means if he's lacking in something, bringing that for the devotee. So Krishna says he will take care of that. So all we have to do is we have to endeavor to do Ananya Bhakti. And if we are able to do Ananya Bhakti, then Krishna says, I will carry whatever he lacks. So we don't have to worry. And Krishna also says in the eighth chapter, last verse, that after speaking about the time of leaving one's body, at the time of death, whatever the yogi thinks, right? And at the time, what time he's going to leave his body. Somebody leaves in the daytime, somebody leaves in the night, somebody in the Krishna Paksha, somebody in the Shukla Paksha, somebody in Uttarayanam, somebody in Dakshinayanam. Different results they get. So those who, but finally after giving all these details, Krishna says, but my devotees don't worry. Oh, what time of moment, which moment I'm going to give up my body, and will this happen, will that? They don't worry, because their only concern is to serve Krishna, to please Krishna, with whatever means the devotee has at that time. He wants to serve Krishna. Then at the time of death, Mare Krishna, Rakhe Krishna, Mare ke. If Krishna protects me, then I'm protected. If Krishna does not protect me, then who else can protect me? Okay, Krishna is not protecting me. Can I protect myself? Is there anything I can do to protect myself? No. What can I do? What can I do? I cannot protect myself. Nor can my fallible soldiers, right? My family members, my community members, my country people, the doctors and nurses, can they protect us? Nobody can protect us. At the time of death, who will come? Nobody. Even if they love us, still they cannot do anything. Everyone is fallible, right? They can only come so far. Only Krishna can save us. So a devotee is always depending on Krishna, calling out to Krishna. Depending on Krishna means I'm at your mercy, whatever you want to do with me. Right? If you don't protect me, then I don't have any other shelter. Like that. And when a devotee is like that, so dependent on the Lord, will the Lord not take care of the devotee? Of course, He will take care of the devotee. He will do whatever is best. And the devotee has that confidence in the Lord. Whatever the Lord is doing to me, that's the best thing that I need. So here, fire at the time of death, right? So normally it is a fearful condition when you think about that. Oh, this is what happens. You hear sometimes what happens. It's a very, very difficult experience, the time of death. Sometimes you hear that. But at the same time, if you are Krishna conscious, if you can take shelter of Krishna at all times, under all circumstances, then at that time, difficult times, certainly you will take shelter of Krishna. If you are trained to take shelter of Krishna at all times, when there is a difficult time, certainly you will take shelter of Krishna only at that time. So we don't have to worry. We don't have to worry. Yes, Mataji.
I always pray for that only. Krishna, in my prayers, I always say, please help me at the end of my life. I need to think you. Because at that time, I don't know what happens to me and what chokes my throat and everything. But still, I say that just somehow or other, either I cannot talk, but I cannot hear, or just let me think about it. That's all my prayers are.
Yes, Mataji. Wonderful prayer.
Nothing,
Yeah.
nothing in our hands.
Yes, devotees don't have to worry, and like this, you're praying, and that is Krishna consciousness. You're taking shelter of Krishna. And devotee takes one step, Krishna comes 10 steps forward. So I feel confident, fully confident. You will be protected by Krishna just because of the way you are calling out to Krishna.
I don't know.
And I wish that I will also be able to call out to Krishna like that.
There's nothing in our hands.
55. तास्वपत्युर्महाराजा निरीक्ष्याध्यात्मिकीं गतिम् अन्वीयुस्तत्प्रभावेन अग्निं शान्तम् इवार्चिषः. So, Mataji, I think Aditi Lata Mataji, Arunita, did you read yesterday?
Yes,
Yeah, I think.
all three of us read.
Thank you. So it's Isha's turn. Okay, go ahead.
O Maharaj Parikshit, by observing their husband progressing in spiritual existence, Sabri Muni's wives were also able to enter the spiritual world by his spiritual power, just as the flames of a fire cease when the fire is extinguished.
Yes. So, of course, we heard that Saubari Muni got perfection. His perfection was, according to the yogic practice, whatever is the perfection, he got that. By observing their husband progressing in spiritual existence, Saubari Muni's wives were also able to enter the spiritual world by his spiritual power. Not that they also performed tapasya and because of tapasya they got perfection. See, what did we read? Yesterday Mataji was also saying, Vindhyavali Mataji, just see the wives, the husband is going to the forest. They had an option. Each one had 100 sons. They could have stayed back and stayed at home in the comforts of their palaces. But they said, no, our husband is leaving. We will follow our husband into the forest. Chaste wives. So here it is said, when the husband got perfection, by observing their husband progressing in spiritual existence, they were simply watching him go back to the spiritual world, progressing in spiritual existence. By that, Saubari Muni's wives were also able to enter the spiritual world by his spiritual power. How? The analogy is just as the flames of a fire cease when the fire is extinguished. If you put out the fire, then the flames are also extinguished. So let's read Srila Prabhupada's purport about that. Krishna Ashish.
As stated in Bhagavad Gita 9.32, Striyo Vaishyas Tatha Shudras Tepi Anti Param Gatim. Women are not considered very powerful in following spiritual principles. But if a woman is fortunate enough to get a suitable husband who is spiritually advanced, and if she always engages in his service, she also gets the same benefit as her husband. Here it is clearly said that the wives of Sobari Muni also entered the spiritual world by the influence of their husband. They were unfit, but because they were faithful followers of their husband, they also entered the spiritual world with him. Thus, a woman should be a faithful servant of her husband, and if the husband is spiritually advanced, the woman will automatically get the opportunity to enter the spiritual world. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 9th canto, 6th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled "The Downfall of Sobari Muni."
Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that if a woman faithfully follows her husband, she will get, and if the husband is spiritually advanced, both conditions have to be satisfied. If the husband is spiritually advanced, and if the wife is faithfully serving her husband, even if she is not practicing, even if she herself is not so qualified, like by her own strength, by her own power, she may not be able to go to the spiritual world, but simply by dint of being a faithful servant of her husband, she is also she also gets the same spiritual destination as her husband. And one more point that Prabhupada said in the purport is, women are not generally qualified to perform strict spiritual practices. For example, let's take a yogi. Saubhari Muni was a yogi. So it's not that they were also meditating underwater or, very severe way. No, we don't see that. But still they got the same destination as their husband. How? Because they were faithful servants, faithful wives to their husbands, followers of their husbands. Mataji, Vindhyavali Mataji.
Again, I have a small comment on that. Like Prabhupada is saying, in Shastras they say, whatever husband does rituals, half of that goes to wife. When wife does any rituals, it goes to her only. So that's how Shastras say. I heard. That's how from childhood I was just doing that. Because husband, whatever he does, and half of that, this thing goes to wives. But no, not that wife doesn't go. They always do pray for husband only. But that's what I always used to argue. So what is that husband is doing, and you get half of that. Then we are doing, her wife is doing, then it won't go to
husband. Will also go. Will also get Mataji.
It's also go. But that's how they say. Usually
we saw in some other case. I'm just trying to recollect where.
Like you said, Prabhupada is saying that wives, ladies, we don't. Whatever we do, we're not certain yajna and havan and everything. We are not eligible to do that. Men only can do that.
Right.
So that's how most of that they say. Husband has power and wife. That's what
Yes, Mataji, correct. So you actually gave the answer also. So generally we see that, going to Gurukula, like we discussed this yesterday, training is required for both, but it's a different type of training. Men are the ones who are formally trained in the Gurukula under a teacher, living there with the Guru under a teacher. Girls are not sent like that to go and live under the teacher, no. They get their training at home from their mother and father, girls get. But and when she's married, she'll get from her husband. So the husband is trained in Gurukula, he gets formal training. And then the wife, by serving her husband, if the husband is a Brahmana, she will also become a Brahmani by serving that husband, because he will train her. Whatever he is doing, she'll be assisting him. So she will also become a Brahmani. But she does not get that formal training of going to Gurukula and getting training. And similarly, the husband becomes a king. In the case of a Kshatriya, we don't see that the wife also rules like a king. No. After the king, then his son rules. But at the same time, she is assisting her husband in his duties. So she also becomes a Kshatrani. She's also, but she is not getting the formal training as such. You understand? So therefore, it is said, and what to speak, now we are specifically talking about spiritual practices. So in spiritual practices, primarily you have jnana, yoga, and bhakti. Of course, the karma is not exactly a spiritual practice, but nishkama karma comes under jnana only. Nishkama karma is the stepping stone. From there one enters into jnana or ashtanga yoga. So these paths you don't see. For example, if you have to do if you want to be a jnani or a yogi, first thing is you have to leave home and go sannyas. Where do women have this opportunity?
That's true.
So therefore it is said women cannot practice. That's why it is said they cannot practice, means they don't have that, the system, is, they don't have that. Like you were only saying the other day that not you, another Mataji, actually, Gita Govinda Mataji was saying that, we talk about equal rights in the material world, women's equal rights, but the most important thing for women is protection for their chastity. That's the most important. As soon as they step out independently, now they become a victim to men. So it is not possible for them to leave home and go to the forest and live like a sannyasi. A man can do that, but a woman cannot do that, right? Because when she goes out, then where is protection for her? Where is protection? So therefore for women, protection is most important. Therefore they're always under the protection of either father, husband or son. They need that. However, we may say now we are also driving trucks, we are also flying airplanes, we do everything that men do, but at the same time,
Protection is not there.
protection, only we give birth to children.
At the
Women
same
give
time,
men don't do that.
Mataji, when they do that yajna or anything, the fire first, if wife is there, wife does helps that to help starting that thing, that importance is there for wife.
Absolutely, that's the whole point. It's not like they're minimized or they're not important. They have a role to play.
Role to play.
They have their role to play. But it's not about competing that we are equal. You have your particular role and they have their particular role. Not to say that they are, there's no need of competing. Like, they can, the things that you do at home, they cannot do. Right? So in that sense, inside the house, then you are superior because you handle everything, like cooking and organizing and paying bills and everything, children, you handle everything inside.
That's why wife has lots of roles. Karyeshu Mantri. She is Karyeshu Mantri. Bhogeshu Mata. She when she feeds, like mother only she feeds. And then when she does any planning, she's like a mantri, she's a chief
advisor, minister.
Like that, she has lots of roles. Bhojeshu Mata, Sayeneshu Ramba. So all those things are in wife, she has importance. But a modern thing, these people, they think that, oh yes, I'm equal. Those things, the younger generation, they're just getting into a different way.
And still they're not happy, unfortunately.
No, they're not happy.
They cannot be happy.
No.
So that's the point. So
what
here
is there? They're not realizing. Thank you, Mataji.
Mataji is saying, Priyanka Haripriya Mataji is saying, if wife does wrong, then husband will have to share that also.
Sure, he has to. But
Yes.
at the time, he needs to control. He needs to control and teach the wife. Don't do that. This is wrong. But which wife is listening? Nowadays, modern days, they won't listen. So that is where the problem is coming now. Both have
dependence is
equal.
not there.
Both have equal parts. Like a cart goes. Both bulls. They have to balance that. One is sitting, and the cart cannot move.
Correct.
That's how they used to tell us when we are young. We didn't go a lot of books and everything, but like this, now we have opportunity. But when we were young, we didn't have all that. But still, they used to do these examples for us.
Yes, Mataji.
Bullock cart is going, and two bulls have to go equally. One sits in there, they cannot go. In either one.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. So when the husband does, then wife also gets credit because she's following him and she's supporting him in his spiritual practices. She may or may not be doing the same things that he's doing. She's not doing, but still, just for example, even at home, she's taking care of the children and she's freeing the husband, to participate and
Very
progress in
important
spiritual
role.
life. Yeah.
If she doesn't want to take care of the house, husband cannot go and work. Both.
Yes. Yeah.
Mataji,
Work and
I
also
have-
is spiritual life. Yeah.
Any spiritual also.
Yeah. So then, because she didn't come out, to compete, but she was at home taking care. But Krishna is watching, so she
Yes.
also gets a share, right? She's also she gets delivered also in the end. Like that. So we saw Saubari Muni's wives; they were all delivered. Although they didn't practice the austerities like their husbands, but simply by being chaste wives, by assisting their husband, they all. Okay, Mataji is asking another question. If husband does wrong, then wife does not share the result? No, Mataji. You know why?
That is where.
That's true. That's true.
Subordinate.
Husband, because see, the thing is, the husband's position is like it's something like parent and children. Husband is supposed to know better. Why? Because he is trained. He is educated, he is trained, he is supposed to be the leader. The role of the husband is to be the guru and engage the wife. Why they say, when the husband, when a man, he tells his mother, I'm going to get a maid servant for you. So her role is to serve the husband, and husband, Prabhupada also says, ideal situation is husband is a devotee of Krishna, is a pure devotee of Krishna, and wife is a faithful maid servant of the husband. This is an ideal situation. So the problem comes when the husband is not trained in Krishna consciousness, is not trained in the Shastra, then he doesn't know how to guide the wife properly. If he thinks my wife is meant for my enjoyment, for my property, she is meant just simply for my enjoyment, and if he himself is not following the Shastric injunctions, then there will be, disharmony, isn't it? So, just like, there's also this example from Mahabharata. The same sin is committed by a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. Okay? Punishment is not the same for all four. For Shudra, very less punishment is given. For Vaishya, little more than the Shudra. Kshatriya, even more than Vaishya. But the most severe punishment is given to the Brahmana. Why? Brahmana is the leader. He is supposed to know the Shastra, and in spite of knowing everything, in spite of being in that responsible position, he committed a sin. You don't expect a Shudra to know everything. You understand? So, why the husband is given such a high, position and respect, and the wife should serve him like this and like that? Why it is said? Because he's actually taken that responsibility, not only of physical maintenance, but also for the spiritual progress of the wife. It is the husband's responsibility. Wife and also children, dependent children.
That's why he is called head of the family.
Ah,
Head. So when head is not
so
taken properly,
yeah. So and it is not that whatever the wife and children do, the husband does not get. It's not true, because it's just like a disciple, guru and disciple. If a disciple does very good, is the guru not going to get any credit for that? Father and son. If the son does very good, is the father. You become a pure devotee so many generations before you become delivered, it is said. If so many generations become delivered, that may be in karma, I don't know, Mataji. But in bhakti, if you do bhakti, if you're a wife and if you're doing bhakti, and you're a faithful wife of your husband will not get that. How can you say? If so many generations before and after are getting benefited, anyone who is dear to you will be, because they are dear to you, Krishna will deliver them. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. Karma is like a business, right? You do this and you get that. It's like you pay this much and you get this item. You don't have enough money to buy this, you cannot get. For this much money, you can only get this item. Karma is like that. But bhakti, bhavagrahi janardana. You give your life to Krishna, and then anyone else who's dear to you, anyone else on whom you are compassionate, that person receives Krishna's mercy because of that person's connection to you. How husband will not get karma? I don't know the details of karma. Krishna himself says that the intricacies, right, of karma, it's very intricate. The details of karma are very intricate. In the 4th chapter, Krishna says. So it's very complex. So exactly how that works, what wife does, what husband gets, and what husband does, what wife gets. As far as karma, I'm not exactly sure. But from Srila Prabhupada's purpose, we understand that if the husband is not a first-class devotee, and if the wife is a very sincere, serious devotee, then she can play the role of a guru. It is not normal. Normally, the husband should play the role of guru. But for some reason, if the husband is not a devotee, but if the wife is sincerely practicing, then she will be playing the role of guru. Guru means what? Not that she's preaching and not like that. Guru means she's leading everyone on the spiritual path by her example. She's sincerely practicing and she will pull them up if she's sincerely practicing
there are
devotional service.
lots of cases that wife corrects the husband. Lots of cases, if he is going wrong way, that's why Karyeshu Mantri. She has to play the role when it is necessary. Not always. Just like that, I am the boss of the husband, No, that's not the thing.
Yeah.
But when it is needed, she needs to put him in the right path. That is the wife's duty. Of course, she may or may not get any credits from outside, but she has to plan her own. If she's making them do and putting them in the right path, that is wife's duty, not husband. Because he has to do other outside work and he can do. Which wife, she can take care of the family. Then also, if a child is not doing good, They'll say, "Kis maa ne pala hai?" Which mother will raise this kid? They won't say which father raised this kid. First, it will go to mother only, how she is training the kid. So those are the things are there since lot of shastras saying that. So after Kali Yuga, it's changing a lot, little bit. Equal
of course, a lot. Not little bit.
I'm sorry, I did a bit.
No problem, Mataji. It's good. So, yeah, so this is the end of this chapter, the last purport. Striyo Vaishyas Tata Shudras Tepi Yanti Param Gatim. That means even those who are not considered high class, right? Vaishyas, Shudras, and Stri. So, first class means Brahmanas and then Kshatriyas. But even those who are not high class, they can also get Param Gati. How? Mam, how does this verse begin? How does this verse begin? Striyo Vaishyas Tata Shudras Tepi Yanti Param. Mam hi partha vyapashritya epi syu papayonaya. Papayonaya. Striyo Vaishyas Tata Shudras Tepi Yanti Param Gatim. Of course, here Papayoni is not Stri, Vaishya and Shudra. They are not called Papayoni. Papayoni is another class. That means even Papayoni, those who are born in sinful yoni, they will also can get Param Gati. Mam hi partha vyapashrite. Anyone who takes shelter of me. O Partha, anyone who takes shelter of me. Mam hi partha vyapashritya. Yepisyu papayona. Even if they are papayoni, born in papayoni, or they are born as Stri, or Vaishya, or Shudra, tepi yanti param gatim. They will also get the highest destination. How? By taking shelter of Krishna. So taking shelter of Krishna is not barred for anyone. Anyone can do that. So Srila Prabhupada is quoting that verse that even Stri can get the highest destination. But Prabhupada is saying women are not considered very powerful in following spiritual principles. But if a woman is fortunate enough to get a suitable husband who is spiritually advanced, and if she always engages in his service, she also gets the same benefit. There's always, Krishna is always giving opportunities. Of course, in Kali Yuga, things are all topsy-turvy. We don't have that Vedic system in place. But at the same time, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through Guru Parampara coming to us, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, who personally took that risk, he gave an opportunity to all ladies. He gave an opportunity. We get Diksha. We also get to chant Hare Krishna. We get Brahman Diksha also. We can worship the Lord, the deities. Isn't it? This is the system. It's not that only now. Even at the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we see they were also worshipping. Even the previous generations also, they were also worshipping. So opportunity is there. So what I'm saying is, even if we don't have that perfect system where the husband is a pure devotee, and then simply by serving that husband you get a better destination, because being a woman you are not so powerful in practicing religious practices, but still spiritual practices, but still we are given an opportunity, isn't it? By the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that mercy is brought to us by Srila Prabhupada and then by his sincere disciples. I was listening to Srila Prabhupada's lecture in Atlanta. Prabhupada said, Krishna says, first of all you surrender. then I will deliver you. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Sharanam vraja, sharanagati, surrender to me. Then aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. I will deliver you from all sins. Don't worry, ma shucha. So Krishna demanded surrender first. And then Srila Prabhupada became very, very emotional and said, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't even demand surrender. We read that the basic requirement is surrender, isn't it? But Mahaprabhu is saying, he's not even asking you to surrender. He's saying, just chant Hare Krishna. Just chant Hare Krishna. So yes, in Kali Yuga we are very degraded. If we are able to chant Hare Krishna sincerely, take shelter of Hare Krishna, of course that itself is surrender, right? If you have that faith in the holy name, you call that as surrender, full Shraddha. But Srila Prabhupada was saying, Mahaprabhu is so merciful, he doesn't even ask you to, doesn't even demand. He doesn't make that condition that first of all you surrender. Krishna makes that condition. But Mahaprabhu is so merciful, he doesn't even demand that. Srila Prabhupada says that in Atlanta. So I was just thinking about that. How is it, right? Without surrender. That means that surrender will come when you chant Hare Krishna. We chant Hare Krishna even before we get surrender, isn't it? We get the mantra even before we surrender. We get the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And if we take to that chanting, that is why chant at least 16 rounds, Srila Prabhupada said. If you sincerely do those 16 rounds and follow the 4 regulative principles, if you do that sincerely, that will bring you to the stage of full surrender. So therefore Mahaprabhu is not even demanding surrender. He is saying just chant Hare Krishna. Accept this. This opportunity was not there before. If you simply followed the Vedic path, this opportunity was not there. So, yes, there are many disadvantages in Kali Yuga, but there is one good quality. Kirtanadeva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Vrajit. Simply by chanting the holy names of the Lord, you'll get the highest destination in Kali Yuga. So this is the benediction of Kali Yuga. So then it does not matter whether you're a woman, you're strong, weak, fallen, it does not matter. Just take shelter of this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And on the strength of Mahaprabhu's assurance, on the strength of Mahaprabhu's assurance, we will all be delivered. He assured that you simply chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Take to this chanting. He's not even demanding surrender. So, yeah, but at the same time, we shouldn't take it cheaply. That's the other problem, right? So, you still follow to the best, whatever is possible under the circumstances. Whatever is possible, because things are topsy-turvy in Kali Yuga. So that does not mean now we just drop everything, the Vedic culture and everything, we just drop everything. No. Because the modes of passion and ignorance are very prominent in Kali Yuga. So it is important that we must, as far as possible, we must try to follow the dharma which is given in the scriptures, the varna and ashrama dharma, as far as possible, as much as possible. We should. So in simple words, our acharyas have said, simplify your life. Don't make your life more complicated. Don't make your life complicated by performing activities that are primarily in the modes of passion and ignorance. Simplify, because that is congenial for chanting Hare Krishna. When we simplify our life, then that is favorable for chanting Hare Krishna. And even Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, cow protection and agriculture. I can send you that quote. Cow protection and agriculture are, everyone should engage in cow protection and agriculture, because by doing this, you become free from sin. You become free from sin by engaging in cow protection and agriculture, and then you will be able to do other activities like chanting Hare Krishna. Because naturally, that is a simple life. But our lifestyle today, the fast-paced lifestyle, dealing with machines, everything is a machine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Going in cars, everywhere, it's just machines, machines, machines. That is not simplified lifestyle. So there's passion and ignorance there. So that is like going in the opposite direction. So it's not very favorable. But still, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is transcendental. Hare Krishna Mahamantra can penetrate in any circumstance because it is transcendental. It is not in any modes. But Kali will not allow you to take shelter of Hare Krishna. You're trying to chant Hare Krishna and your mind goes all over the place. You're distracted all the time. So Kali won't even allow you to take shelter of Hare Krishna. If you are able to take shelter of Hare Krishna with that determination, then yes, even in any circumstance, it does not matter. But honestly, you ask yourself, am I able to take shelter of Hare Krishna Mahamantra? If I'm not able to, then I'm overwhelmed by these modes of passion and ignorance, by this lifestyle, by this atmosphere. Then let me try to make some adjustments to simplify my life. Then it will be more favorable. I may be able to chant Hare Krishna. You may have that experience if you go to New Vrindavan or some place where you're closer to nature, or some farm, Gita Nagari, right? Modes of passion and ignorance, they come down, and there you can chant better, like that. So that with that we ended the chapter of the downfall of Saubhari Muni. Tomorrow we'll be beginning the next chapter. I can just read the summary today, and from tomorrow we will start text 1.
What is this chapter number, Mataji?
The one that we finished is chapter 6.
6, okay.
Downfall of Saubhari Muni.
Oh, okay,
And,
okay.
Canto 9, chapter 6.
Yeah.
So now we are going to chapter 7, the descendants of King Mandata. Again, every time at the beginning of every chapter, I remind you why we are reading this. Now, who is Mandata? Let us see. Now, I won't tell you. I will ask you. Who is Mandata? Why did we even read about Mandata? Rasapriya, thank you. Let's see. Say again. Very good. He is a descendant of Maharaj. No, he's not a descendant of. Is he? Ikshvaku. Yeah, descendant of Ikshvaku. Correct. Rasapriya is correct. So she said that
My friend is always correct.
King Mandata is a descendant of King Ikshvaku. Okay. So King Ikshvaku he had 100 sons, right? 3 of them were prominent. First one is called Vikukshi, right? So we are reading the descendants one after another. Vikukshi. Remember Vindhyavali Mataji said, so many names it is hard to remember. And then coming down after so many generations, finally we came to King Mandata. Now what is the significance of King Mandata? Mandata had 50 daughters and they all married Saubhari Muni. That's how we were reading about Saubhari Muni.
Like that.
We saw the connection. Now, apart
Yeah.
from daughters, he may have had sons also. So we are now continuing
See,
that.
just before that, but we forgot who is Mandata. You said.
Yeah. So, and also before that, just before Mandata. Now, if I ask you who is King Mandata, who is his father? Who remembers? Who's Mandata's father? Yuvanashva. Very good. What is the story of Yuvanashva? Yes, Isha wants to say. Go ahead.
Wait, the story of Yuvanashva?
Yuvanashva. You said Mandata is Yuvanashva's father. So what is the circle? How Mandata was born to Yuvanashva?
So, King Yuvanashva and all his wives, I forget how many wives he had. 100?
I think 100 wives.
Yeah, something like that. So they all retired to the forest, but they didn't fully retire because they were detached because they were
But
sad.
why did he retire in the first place? Because he had no sons.
Yeah,
He
but
had so many wives thinking that he'll have sons, but he didn't have any sons.
but they
Okay?
were still sad because they didn't have any sons.
He became sad and he took Vanprastha. He entered into the forest
Yeah.
and they followed with him. Husband is going, so wives followed, just like Saubhari Muni's wives. Nevertheless, they had that feeling that, oh, we didn't have kids.
So I think they started doing a yagya.
The sages in the forest taking pity on the king and that they were feeling sorry, the wives and the king. So they performed Indra Yagya. Why?
To give him a son.
Yes.
And then they had put the sanctified water in a pot over there, and then they all went to sleep, the Brahmanas. And then King Yavanasha at night, he was very thirsty. So he went to the spot of the yagya to find water, and then he saw that water and he drank it, which was meant for the wives. So then the next morning, the Brahmanas, they discovered that the water is not there. So they said, who drank this? And then they found out that it was the king who drank it. So they were like, who can challenge the will of the Supreme Lord?
Yes.
And then after some time, Mandhata, he gave birth to
Yuvanashva gave birth.
Yuvanashva, he gave birth to the
Mandhata.
baby, Mandhata. And then after that, right after that happened, he attained.
Yeah, he took Vanprastha, so he was performing severe austerities, and then he got his perfection.
Yeah. So, but then the baby, he started to cry because there was no one to feed him. So Lord,
Because he was born directly from the father, he didn't have a mother, so no breast milk for the baby. So the baby was crying. So this is before the father, left, right after birth. The baby's crying.
So there was no one to feed him. And then Lord Indra, because he was
That was Indra Yagya.
Yeah, it was a yagya to please him. He took pity on the child, and then he gave him his finger to suck, and he said, "You can drink meat." And then that's how the baby was nourished. And then the forest
Raised him.
the baby, I think.
No, he was nourished by drinking, sucking the finger of King Indra, and he grew up to be a very strong, powerful king. So that is the story of Mandata, and that Mandata had 50 daughters. So now this next chapter we are going to read about the descendants of King Mandata. That's this chapter. So I'll just read the summary, and then tomorrow we'll start with the first text. In this chapter, the descendants of King Mandata are described, and in this connection, the histories of Puruputsa and Harishchandra are also given. The most prominent son, so Mandata also had sons, we read that. The most prominent son of Mandata was Ambarish. His son was Yauvanashva, not Yuvanashva, Yauvanashva. And Yauvanashva's son was Harita. These three personalities were the best in the dynasty of Mandata. Puruputsa, another son of Mandata, married the sister of the snakes, Sarpagana, named Narmada, sister of the snakes. The son Puruputsa was Trasadasyu, whose son was, Trasadasyu means what? That means all plunderers and rogues were afraid of him, scared of him, he was so powerful. The son of Puruputsa was Trasadasyu, whose son was Anaranya. Anaranya's son was Haryashva. Haryashva's son was Praruna. Praruna's son was Tribandhana. And Tribandhana's son was Satyavrata, also known as Trishanku. When Trishanku kidnapped the daughter of a Brahmana, His father cursed him for this sinful act, and Trishanku became a Chandala, worse than a Shudra. Later, by the influence of Vishwamitra, he was brought to the heavenly planets, but by the influence of the demigods, he fell back downward. He was stopped in his fall, however, by the influence of Vishwamitra. The son of Trishanku was Harishchandra. Harishchandra once performed a Rajasuya Yagya, but Vishwamitra cunningly took all of Harishchandra's possessions as a dakshina contribution and chastised Harishchandra in various ways. Because of this, a quarrel arose between Vishwamitra and Vashishta. Harishchandra had no sons, but on the advice of Narada, he worshipped Varuna and in this way got a son named Rohita. Harishchandra promised that Rohita would be used to perform a Varuna Yagya because he got Rohita by worshipping Varuna. Varuna reminded Harishchandra repeatedly about this Yagya, but the king, because of affection for his son, gave various arguments to avoid sacrificing him. Thus, time passed and gradually the son grew up. To safeguard his life, the boy then took bow and arrows in hand and went to the forest. Meanwhile, at home, Harishchandra suffered from dropsy because of an attack from Varuna. When Rohita received the news that his father was suffering, he wanted to return to the capital, but King Indra prevented him from doing so. Following the instructions of Indra, Rohita lived in the forest for 6 years and then returned home. Rohita purchased Shunashepha, the second son of Ajigartha, and gave him to his father, Harishchandra, as a sacrificial animal. In this way, the sacrifice was performed. Varuna and the other demigods were pacified, and Harishchandra was freed from disease. In this sacrifice, Vishwamitra was the Hota, priest, Jamadagni was the Advaryu, Vashishta was the Brahma, and Ayasya was the Udgata. King Indra, being very satisfied by the sacrifice, gave Harishchandra a golden chariot, and Vishwamitra gave him transcendental knowledge. Thus, Sukadev Goswami describes how Harishchandra achieved perfection. So, this chapter, beginning with text 1, we will read tomorrow. I think Madhava will begin reading, right? Yeah. So, we will stop here. Because it's already 5:30, I know you go for other classes Sunday morning. I can end here. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. All of you have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness.
Thank you very much, Mataji.